Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Golden Bachelorette Mark Anderson shares advice from Kelsey. Mark Anderson is the father of Kelsey Anderson, the winner of Bachelor Season 28. He made a memorable impression when he appeared on Kelsey's hometown date. Mark is a 57-year-old United States Army veteran from Louisiana. He and Kelsey's mother met in the military, where they were both military police officers. Mark recently followed in his daughter's footsteps by appearing on the reality dating show The Golden Bachelorette. He was introduced to the show's star, Joan Vassos, by Kelsey herself. Mark's journey on the show has been highly anticipated, with a preview suggesting he will go far. What advice did Kelsey have for her dad? How he felt about overnight fame from Bachelor appearance. Mark Anderson's appearance on The Bachelor was brief, but the impact was immediate. Bachelor Nation fans took to social media to gush over what a great father he was to Kelsey. There were many cries for him to be the next Golden Bachelor, but instead the Army vet joined the first season of The Golden Bachelorette as one of Joan Vassos' suitors. He recently spoke to The Wrap about his experience on the popular reality TV show. Mark Anderson admitted that he was taken aback by the initial reaction. However, he got over the embarrassment to put himself out there again. Why he decided to join Golden Bachelorette. Mark Anderson's wife passed away in 2018. Kelsey opened up to Joey Graziadei about the loss on season 28 of The Bachelor. She encouraged her dad to apply for Golden Bachelorette. The more I thought about it, I was like, why not? Mark told The Wrap, "I've told my kids their entire life to do stuff, and don't shy away from things. Take that opportunity and go do it, so it wouldn't really be right for me not to." But his first meeting with Joan Vassos didn't go as planned. He explained, "I had a great smile that I wanted to say. I knew of her. I saw pictures of her, I saw a video of her. But I stood in front of her, my mind went blank, and it was awestruck." Mark Anderson shares advice from Kelsey. He revealed that his daughter had some sound advice for him before the show, and it was the same advice he gave her before she joined The Bachelor. Mark Anderson ***, the charming finalist of the popular reality show Golden Bachelorette, recently opened up about his unforgettable experience on the show. In a candid interview, he shared how one of the most impactful connections he made wasn't just with the other contestants, but with a fellow cast member named Kelsey, a woman whose wisdom and outlook on life changed his perspective forever. "I'll never forget the first conversation I had with Kelsey," Mark begins, his eyes twinkling with nostalgia. "It was the night of the cocktail party, and amidst all the laughter and the excitement, we somehow ended up talking about life, love, and everything in between. She had this incredible way of seeing the world. It wasn't just about romance or relationships, it was about living authentically, fully, without apology." As the show progressed, Kelsey became a touchstone for Mark, someone he would gravitate towards when the pressure of the competition got overwhelming. What stood out about Kelsey was not just her elegance and grace but her grounded nature. She had been through the highs and lows of life and had come out on the other side with a wisdom that only time and experience could offer. One night, after an intense group date, Mark and Kelsey found themselves sitting by the fire pit. The cameras were off for the moment, and it was just them, the crackling fire, and the stars above. Kelsey looked at me and said something that has stuck with me ever since. Mark recalls, his voice softening. She said, "You can't force love, Mark. It's like holding sand in your hands. The tighter you grip, the faster it slips away. But if you cup your hands gently, it will stay with you." Those words resonated deeply with Mark. In his quest for love, he realized he had been trying too hard to control the outcome, to shape the story into what he thought it should be. Kelsey's advice made him reconsider his approach, not just on the show, but in his life outside of it. "She reminded me that love is not something you chase," Mark says thoughtfully. "It's something you allow to find you." That's a tough thing to grasp when you're in a competition setting where everything feels so immediate and intense. But Kelsey was right. Love doesn't work on a timetable. Throughout their time on the show, Kelsey's presence became a calming influence for Mark. She had an uncanny ability to see through the noise and drama and focus on what truly mattered. I remember one evening, it was the final few weeks, and the tension was palpable. Everyone was nervous, myself included. Kelsey sat next to me and said, "You know, none of this matters as much as we think it does. What matters is how we make people feel and how we treat ourselves. It was such a simple statement, but it brought me so much peace. Mark pauses for a moment, as if reflecting on the weight of those words. She taught me to be kind to myself. We all make mistakes, we all have regrets, but that's part of the journey. What's important is how we grow from them. Kelsey's advice wasn't just limited to love and relationships. She had a holistic view of life, one that encompassed self-care, personal growth, and finding joy in the small moments. Mark recalls another memorable conversation they had during a quiet afternoon on the patio, watching the sunset. She told me, "Mark, don't wait for the perfect moment to be happy. Life is happening right now in this very moment. If you keep waiting for everything to be just right, you'll miss all the beauty that's already around you." That hit me hard. I had spent so much of my life chasing after goals, waiting for the right time to be happy. But Kelsey made me realize that happiness is a choice we make every day, no matter the circumstances. As the show drew to a close, Mark found himself reflecting more and more on the lessons he had learned from Kelsey. She had a way of making everything seem so clear, so simple, even when emotions were running high and the stakes felt enormous. Kelsey had this saying, Mark shares with a chuckle: "Don't sweat the small stuff, and most of it is small stuff." It sounds cliché, but when you're in the thick of things, it's easy to lose sight of that. She reminded me that life isn't meant to be perfect. It's messy, unpredictable, and beautiful all at once. Mark's eyes light up as he recounts the final piece of advice Kelsey gave him before they said their goodbyes. It was after the final rose ceremony, when emotions were at their peak. Mark, still processing the whirlwind of the experience, asked Kelsey how she managed to stay so centered throughout the whole process. She smiled at me and said, "Mark, life's too short to live for other people's expectations. Be true to yourself, follow your heart, and the rest will fall into place." Those words became a mantra for Mark in the months that followed. He realized that he had spent too much of his life trying to fit into molds that weren't meant for him. Kelsey's advice gave him the courage to step into his own power, to embrace the person he was meant to be, without fear of judgment or rejection. Kelsey wasn't just a friend or a confidant, Mark says with a smile. She was a teacher, a guide. I think we all have people who come into our lives at the right time, and for me, that was Kelsey. She helped me see life through a different lens, one that's filled with love, compassion, and understanding. As Mark reflects on his time on Golden Bachelorette, it's clear that while the journey was about finding love, it was also about self-discovery. And thanks to Kelsey, Mark walked away not just with memories, but with wisdom that will guide him for years to come. "I'll always be grateful for Kelsey," Mark says softly. "She didn't just change the way I approach love, she changed the way I approach life."